G'day friends, welcome to today's video. My name is James, welcome back to my channel, welcome if you are new. Today I have updates, so many updates, I've got a notebook full of updates and I thought it'd be better if I just got on camera and spoke them to you today so I didn't miss anything and I could go on a bit of a chat and go on the tangents that I kind of want to go on that are super difficult to go on Insta stories. So let me just introduce this video. It is an updates video, so I'll put some clips on so it's not just all my freshly shaven face looking at you. Honestly, I would let this beard grow in a little bit before I put my face on camera, but I haven't got time. I've got so much to do, so I want to make sure the information is out there for you so you're not feeling left out or you maybe missed something. I just put it all in this video. Stuff that's happened, stuff that's happening right now, and stuff that will happen in the future, the not too distant future. So let's just get straight into the updates. I got a few things to talk about, just so you can click off this video if you don't want to hear about any of these things. The things I want to talk about in order, I think, are Playtest 2, the Australian Workshops, so the products that are going into Etsy soon, Creator Box, my holiday at home in November, and the Memory to Memento Travel Journal Workshop. Those are the topics I'm going to hit today, and like I said, I'll try and put some little overlay footage so that it's not just my face talking to you. But let's start with Playtest 2. It was an amazing experience. If you want to know what my real candid thoughts are on Playtest Patreon, which is my version of Patreon, I'll just say this much. I don't like to do Patreon long term, just because I think it's really hard for me to grow outside of the platform, which is my goal, when you're putting so much of your energy onto the platform. Patreon's a difficult beast to try and sum up really quickly. As it were, my recap video I think is like 40 or 50 minutes long, but there's a lot of my feelings from last year is how I feel this year. This year was just 2 months, it was August and September, and I found it much more manageable, but still, you know, still a huge learning experience. The best part of it for me is always being able to share in it with everybody, so if that is something that you are wanting to have a go at in the future, ultimately, like, because I don't want to get on here and just sell things to you, I want to be honest with how I feel about it as a consumer. I prefer, if I were you, I would prefer to be in the playtest real time. That's not to say that you can't get anything out of it after the fact, and there have been many people that have enjoyed Playtest Patreon from 2018, even after it had finished. But I would just recommend that if that is something you do want to invest in, perhaps wait for it to come around another time, or if you just can't help yourself, if you have to go back and try and get it on the action. There's a lot of tutorials in there this year. There's a lot of content that I think was really specifically branded to that experience. So it is lots of fun to look at, but some of it will be dated, and sometimes I do feel like a lot of it is more exciting when you're doing the tutorials as like hundreds of other people are doing the tutorials with you, because there's that whole group sense of camaraderie. So I don't want you to think that that is the playtest experience, that you just purchase a bundle of content. It really is about being in that process together, and it's a great way that I get to share that behind the scenes and how all of this really does work with you. So that is in there, but I will just say, like, just chatting to you consumer to consumer, even though that is my own product, I would prefer to be in there real time, so I'm just letting you know that. But it is always there for you, and now that it is on Teachable, it's so much easier to access, and it is all on Teachable. You don't have to download it from the OneDrive, you don't have to put it on your computer, you can work through it online, and it's super easy to work through now. So I don't know if I'll do that for the first one, honestly, because I just don't remember the order of all the content. I'm sure I could try and figure it out, but at the same time, I think I'll leave the first one because I don't think people are too much interested in the first one anymore now that the second one is out. So I'll just leave that one, and in the future, if we decide to keep doing these, I will probably do the same thing. I know I did get some people say, why don't you just do it straight onto Teachable? And that is because I actually do prefer the way the format of Patreon works, in the sense that it's just a running blog post, kind of a page, and on Teachable, the fees are comparable, so it really isn't saving anything, except for the file transfer at the end. But I think I do prefer the way it looks on Patreon. But if you want to keep access to the content, which is impossible to do when I close the page, you do have to find it elsewhere, and that's why I think Teachable is a good kind of host for that. So that's where that is, and that is available to purchase for anyone that was a Playtest TV or a Playbox patron in September, and you still haven't read your message or your email that was sent about gaining access to that. Please, please, please contact me via email before the end of October, because that coupon that was to get you access to that will expire at the end of October, and I won't be issuing any new ones. It just becomes a really, like, I want to be honest with you, it just becomes a really big hassle to individually individually meet like hundreds of people's requests, and I just can't do it anymore. I have tried in the past to really do it, but I just don't think it's the best use of anyone's time really, and I do try to still accommodate where I can, but I'm asking you in advance, please, please, please email me before the end of October, especially this year, because I will be going home in November and virtually unreachable for most of November. So we'll get to that in a second. That's playtest 2. Absolutely loved it, and thank you again for everyone that was involved. I think maybe I showed you this already, but in my little my overlay footage, I have a full binder of all of the digital downloads, like just the digital downloads that were in the playtest 2 experience. So if that's any indication of what's in there, take that for what it is. It's a huge binder full of stuff, and there was a lot to go through this year. So I know a lot of people are still working through it, even though it has finished. So I think if you do want to get in on it and maybe still feel a part of the experience, possibly get on that sooner rather than later. But it's completely up to you. And like everything I mentioned, you can live a great life without it. Truly, I have lived all these years without any of this stuff. You will be fine. So I don't want you to feel like you are missing out. It's just there if you do want it. Aussie Workshops. Aussie, oi. Why did I write that? Just really excited to go home. This November, Saturday the 9th of November, I'll have 2 workshops. They're both the same, concept stamping workshops. So my concept stamp set, the one that we use to make blueprints for illustrations, I'll be doing 2 workshops that are 2 hours long on the 9th, the Saturday. That I think I get to Australia on the 7th, so I'll be fresh as a daisy for the 9th, fingers crossed. We managed to do that last time. I think that's what we did the last time when I hosted the meetup, and that will be there. All of the information will be listed on Etsy, and they are supposed to go live tonight, those registrations. So yes, I am filming this video today and uploading it today because I want to get all this information out, but they were supposed to go live tonight. Very, very limited spaces for those workshops. There are literally only 7 spots in each. I know it's a terrible odd number, but just because of the way the intimate space, like it's an intimate setting, like it's one table, it's a big beautiful table, a nice little space, but we can only fit 2 people. And we could fit 3, but we could fit 2 people comfortably with like a nice little art setup at each corner of the table, like each side. So I just wanted to make sure that you know, you had enough room to work and that we could just really have a great fun time. So there is only 7 spots available for each. The first workshop is at 10 AM and it goes until noon, and the second workshop is 1:30 till 3:30 PM. I do want to say that you don't have to like get in, get out, and I'll never see you again. Please stay around for about 30 minutes after the workshop as well, just for like a mingle and a, you know, show and tell. Bring your journals, bring your washi tape collection. Like, you know, I'm going to try and pack as much as I can into my bag, which I will mention, I am coming from the States, so I won't be bringing my entire studio with me, just the essentials for that workshop and to make it a really great experience. But, and I've had some questions about this before, like why I decided to do that on my holiday. Honestly, you know what I'm like. I'll try and put work anywhere I can, but this is something that I really wanted to do just because Australia is my home country, and I have so many beautiful people in Australia that I've been friends with online for so many years, and I wanted to at least try and give that as an option, since I do workshops in person in the States, and I do have more opportunity for people in the States to get products a lot easier, like the shipping is so much less expensive. So I wanted to make sure that I at least did what I could to offer the same kind of experience down under. So it's exactly the same setup as the way it would work up here, except just bringing it down there. So can't wait. I hope you get on that if that's something you want. Ultimately, I guess it will, you know, be specific to where you're located, but it is on the central coast of New South Wales, and it's on Saturday, November 9th. So that's where I'll be. After that, I guess I'll just slot this in there. I will be on holiday, but don't stress. I will make sure that I pre-film content like I did last year, like I do through Patreon experiences, like I did for Japan. Like, I'm never gonna leave you hanging. Well, as long as I'm on YouTube, I guess. I shouldn't say never, but as long as I'm on YouTube, I am committed to making sure that I do bring you at least 1 video every week, just for you to play and enjoy, and, you know, I don't want to stop that just because I go on holiday. So please don't stress about that either. I just probably won't be as reachable in the sense that if you send direct messages or emails or questions about things, I probably won't be getting back to any of that until I come back home at the end of November, Thanksgiving. So It's weird to say come back home because I'm going home, but I'm coming back home as well. Yeah, it's weird. Oh, one thing about the workshops I forgot to mention. The stamp set is included in the workshop. You don't have to purchase that. There is a list of things that that are good to bring, supplies that I would recommend bringing, but ultimately, if you just bring yourself and a few of your art supplies, I think we'll have a great time. So not to worry about that, and there is no restriction on the skill level for the class. It is actually a really interactive kind of activity-based class, and I think literally anyone could do it. So don't stress about that. If you are confused about what I'm talking about, there's a whole bunch of concept stamp tutorials on this YouTube channel. That is essentially what I'll be teaching, but there's a specific class companion that we work through with lots of activities, and then we do workshop specific, like exclusive tutorial demos. Like I don't put those ones on YouTube. So it's essentially that, but in person. And as always, in person, I like to keep it really informal. I chat to you like I chat to the camera here. So please don't feel stressed or pressured that it's going to be like a heavy learning experience where you just have to shut up and draw. I love to chat. We're going to chat, and please just ask questions. I think it's the best way to learn when you're just having a great time. Inevitably, all the tips, the tricks, the techniques will fall out of my mouth anyway, because I just don't shut up. So we can just leave that at that. Those are the workshops, Aussie Workshops. Could not be more excited for that. Next, we've got products that are coming to the Etsy store. I will put a few overlay footage here of some products. I don't know when exactly these will go up, but I'm anticipating this week. So one thing before we start, anyone who hasn't received their playtest 2 September playboxes yet, if you don't want a spoiler, you might want to skip this part of the video because I'm going to go through some of the products that I have extras of that will go into the store that are also in your playbox. So we have the one that I'm probably most excited about and it's so exciting, but it's so stupid. It's just because I did this years ago. Years ago, I wanted to make a traveler's notebook that had illustrations on every page. Not as like finish me or like kind of, you know, color by numbers or anything. I just wanted something on the page. I just wanted it to be decorated in some way, because all the notebooks I used to buy, like planners, I'd get really upset when the pages just repeated themselves. And I understand why that happens, but it just, I don't know, for me when I was working through it, I was like, even if this was a notebook I wasn't going to draw or paint in, I still wanted a different image on every page. So I made one years ago, and I had to hand make them, and I was doing deckled edges, and I was getting RSI, my fingers were all torn up from the edges. Like, it was a lot of manual labor to make them. So hats off to literally everyone who does handmade journals. I don't know how you do it, but I wondered if I could get a manufacturer at some point, and again, playtest 2. An amazing experience to try and test out these things. So I actually had this ready like a long time ago, and it's so hard to keep all of these things a secret, but I did find a manufacturer where I was able to completely custom print every page of the Traveler's Notebook. And so it is a cardstock Traveler's Notebook. I'll put some little samples here. I've been playing in it recently. That's the worst thing too. I've got all these products and I haven't been able to use a lot of them because I've been way too busy. But I've been playing in this one, and it's so much fun. It's just a Traveler's Notebook, completely illustrated. I specifically did all the illustrations for the notebook so that they would be, you could either do it, my mum thinks it's a travel journal, I don't know why, but she does. She thinks all the sections are for her different parts of the trip, which is how she used the coloring book that I did last year. She's actually quite clever, so I did take one of her ideas and put it in there. And no, she doesn't get a royalty. No, but she thinks it's a travel journal. I personally saw it as a planner because there are 8 divided sections in each illustration, like on each double spread, and that's 7 days plus 1 section for notes. I know there aren't 8 days in a week, but that's why I did that, just so there was a notes section for any extra subject matter you had to write down. Or you could just finish the pages with illustrations and use it as an art journal like I've been doing, or hybrid the whole thing together. It could be an art journal, scrapbook, memo pad, travel journal. Like, you could do anything with it. Obviously it's your journal, but I'm putting those into the store. So those are the custom illustrated Traveler's Notebooks. They're a cardstock too, so I tried to make them as best as I could to work with mixed media. They won't work the best with watercolor, like you're not going to get all your watercolor options because it's not a watercolor paper, but you can use watercolor in them. And as far as Copic markers go, they're not bleed proof, unfortunately. There's like rarely any paper types that are, but they don't bleed too much if you go lightly. I'll say that much. The markers I've been using though are Crayola, so the Crayola actually looks pretty good in there, so I don't not recommend those. And if you use a water brush with the Crayola, you can get some really fun effects. So, you know, there are workarounds for everything obviously, but I did just want to say it is cardstock. That was more just to make a sturdy journal for all the stuff you might want to glue and tip into it, but it's not necessarily a watercolor paper stock. So that's just what I'll leave you with. But super great, I've had a great time with them, and I'm excited to put those in the store. Another thing is the journal charms, the little creative journal charms. These were for playtest 2, these were in all the boxes, but I have extra, so I'm going to put those on the store just in case you're in the Playbox tier but you did want a journal charm for your journal. I'll put those in the store for you. I've got an A5 washi sticker set. This again, testing another manufacturer. This was testing for the creator box actually, but Playtest 2 just came through and I got to test it for that. Unfortunately, they didn't come in time to go with the September Playboxes, but since they were just a product test, they will be listed at a reduced rate on the Etsy store because they're a prototype. And once they're sold out, I don't really think I have much of an intention to bring those back to the store. I'm not quite sure. I'll make up my mind, you know, at a later date. But I do have lots of those sticker sets to put in the store, so I'll put those up for you. It's also the first time I've done washi sticker sets. The first time I've done all these things. I've never had the Traveler's Notebook insert manufactured before. It was handmade last time, so that was new. The journal charm, I've never produced anything like this before. I did an enamel pin, but I just didn't want to do an enamel pin this time, but I still wanted something, you know, super classy and something made of metal. And the washi sticker set, I've only ever had vinyl sticker sets, so washi stickers is really fun. It's so much softer, and I did all those illustrations literally like in a day. It was kind of a feat, let me tell you, but I'm really proud of them, so that's there for you. They're also the illustrations that are around the Whimsyween prompts list, so if you don't purchase that sticker set, you still have access to those in the Burke Makes Creative Outlet Facebook group. Just download that, print it on sticker paper and cut it up. You'll be fine. I'm only telling you that because I know what it sounds like for people to get on here and just say like, I've got this to sell, I've got this to sell, everyone buy my stuff. I can't stand it, so I just want to make sure you know at every single point, this is there if you want it, you don't need it. But it is fun, and I'm not going to say I haven't had a good time with it. So the next part is the 2x6 doll parts stamp set. This one, so much fun. I've been having so much fun with it. As with all the stamp sets, and I think it's kind of echoes off of the concept stamp set class, the workshops, I do like to create these blueprints to use for illustration, and oftentimes I feel like once you kind of, I would say, graduate out of a certain skill level and into something a bit more advanced, sometimes you notice that a lot of products aren't really directed towards where you're at. So personally, as someone that likes to illustrate a lot, I don't necessarily find a lot of products that, especially in stamping, that I feel are challenging or tools. Like they're not, I don't find them like a useful tool for my illustration. They're either way too decorated and I just find them like I can't use them in every kind of circumstance, or they're either just very, very basic and I feel like it's just not enough to work with. So when I design all these stamp sets, it's purely selfish. I just do exactly what I want to do, and I create these tools that I want to use for my illustration. So this one is, I'm not going to say it's easy to use. It is definitely not. It is like, it's a bit of an advanced process, but I will make a full tutorial on YouTube to show everybody how to use it. The thing is, it's like a little ball jointed doll, and it is little. I think that's probably the hardest part, is that some of those pieces are really, really tiny, but they make literally so many different bodies and poses, and I've just had an absolute blast with them. So those are going up in the store as well. I have extras of those. I know I'm going to get this question already because I have had this question already. Will I make it in a bigger size? That I just don't know. The thing is, when you put all those pieces together, they do, you know, it may look like a really small set, but it'll make like a substantial little illustration, so something that would fit in your Traveler's Notebook or your A5 notebook and your smaller journals. I might possibly make a bigger set in the future, but for now this was one of those testing kind of products. I wanted to see if that would work and how I would enjoy it if I did it. Again, just being selfish and wanting to see if I could make something that I wanted to use. And I've had a really great time with it, so I'll definitely bring that to you. I've just been holding off on those tutorials just because not everyone has received their play boxes yet, and I didn't want to spoil the surprise, which I hope you heard the warning if you didn't want the surprise spoiled. Otherwise, I've just literally given everything away. So yeah, that'll be the stuff that I'm aiming to put in the shop. There may be some other little random items, just little loose reserve stock of things that might go in there. But yeah, hopefully that'll go up sometime this week. Again, I don't have specific dates for these things. It's literally when I get a pocket of time to do it, I'll do it, and it just goes up there. But that's that. Creator box, that is on full swing. In full swing? It's being produced right now. And I want to say a huge thank you to everybody that did purchase. You like way exceeded how many people I thought were actually going to participate in this project. I call it a project because it seems like a subscription box, but really underneath the entire project is the opportunity for the designers involved to take this leap into independent manufacturing. And that's not to say that everyone will, but that is why this project exists and is something that I wanted to make sure that I could really get right in my approach to be able to offer that experience and that opportunity to designers involved. So we have 4 designers for this first project. We have Adele from Inky Quill. All my Aussies out there, if you're into scrapbooking project life, I know you know who Adele is. And Adele did a 4x6 stamp set, and her designs are also featured on the custom tissue paper in the box, which is super fun and a nice little added touch that I put in there just because, I mean, the level of detail and branding in this box is far beyond anything I've ever tried before, but I know that Adele likes to back her photos on lots of tissue paper, so I thought if I could put her designs on there, it'd be something she could use the packaging, and you know what we're all like, we'll save that stuff. So it's eco-friendly tissue paper, so they planted a tree in California for it, so I just think it's great. It works all around, but soy-based ink, so I don't know about the longevity of that. I have told Adele that it was soy-based ink, so maybe after a few years we can flip her albums and see if it held up. But nonetheless, Adele's doing that. Ali has a washi sticker set, the same ones that I've been testing. Ali's done a layerable washi sticker set that is just gorgeous, and there are 2 A5 sheets in there. Bree from Documented Journey has all of her illustrated, like, beautiful nature kind of inspired illustrations, her ballpoint pen sketches, a whole set of die cuts, and there are 22 of those hand illustrated die cuts in there, which are just, they're so pretty, and I can't wait to use those as well. I literally can't wait to use everything, let's be real, but those are in there as well. Job of Job's Journal is doing 3 20mm wide washi tapes, which is like a literal mini collection, and if you've ever seen Job's work and his aesthetic, I mean, these tapes are just a direct, like, if you could extract the aesthetic that he has on his Instagram feed and put it into these tapes, that's what that is. And you know me, washi connoisseur, literally wearing my Christmas Walking in a Washi Wonderland t-shirt. Like, obviously I'm excited to use that. So just wanted to let you know what was in the box, as well as it shipping in a custom mailer box, and with the tissue, we also have like the custom tissue paper, not just a tissue. The tissue paper, we also have an A5 zine in there, and there's a vinyl sticker of everyone's collaborative work that goes together. Just a beautiful little vinyl sticker for you to have. But the A5 zine is super interesting as well, because everyone from the creator box was given a creative handout, like a printout to just print and interpret, and everyone did such a different job. And there's also there's also a full page spread, like 2 pages for each designer to show you like what they're about, their work, stuff that they love, and there's a bio in there. Like, it's a really interesting zine to flip through and just get a feel for how different everyone is in that creator box. My product in there is a pocket-sized notebook. Again, fully printed. This time it is not for the traveler's notebook one that I'm putting on Etsy and that I had in the play box. That was printed in a really dark grey to look like graphite pencil, since I had drawn them all in pencil, and I wanted it to look really raw and kind of like it was drawn onto your page. For this one, these are direct scans from my Field Notes personal little journal that I was working on all throughout the past 2 months, and it is just printed start to finish, full color. I haven't seen the proof yet, but it's supposed to arrive on Friday and I'm so excited to see it. That's the product that I'll have in the box as well. So there's a lot of stuff in there. There's gonna be a lot for you to play with, and my goal is to have that ship out at the end of October or start of November. It truly just depends on, wow, there's a reflection coming up into my face. I have to move this chair. Okay, that's all good. It just depends on when manufacturing is complete. So hopefully it is done within the month and we can send those out immediately after. Otherwise, Steve will be on that and he'll be shipping all of those out when I go to Australia in November. But either way, really excited about that. Thank you so much again for being a part of that. Like I said, this is an opportunity for these designers to see their work manufactured and distributed, and to also be paid for it, which I think is really important, to be able to pay people for their work. That's Creator Box. I'm just so excited. Thank you again to everyone that has decided to invest in that project. I just think it's going to be such a great thing. Hopefully we can try and do it again and bring more people into the mix and give people that confidence in moving forward independently. I know what it was 2 years ago to just be so unbelievably anxious about the whole thing. Oftentimes I think when you get into having your own creative business, there are so many other pathways that you could go, as far as, you know, licensing your artwork or being picked up by a company or going into graphic design for a firm or something. Like, there never really seem, it's not a very glamorous option, I don't think, to choose to invest in yourself and say, I'm just gonna do it independently. and it comes with so much work and so much stress and risk. So hopefully this will alleviate some of that initial pressure as far as manufacturing goes for our designers. And the thing that I love about having independence create and manufacture their own products is that you do get a better opportunity to play with whatever it really is that they love and that you enjoy watching on their social media. It's not to say that big companies don't do that, but sometimes I've found that throughout the years, you know, with big companies, you're limited to what is the most marketable product to sell, or it's very seasonal or trend-based, and sometimes it's not so much that these are the designer's favorite colors, it's just that these colors will sell best and this is the company we're private labeling with and these are the colors they have on offer. You know, stuff like that as far as product creation goes and design. So when I did Creator Box, I just wanted to give people the opportunity to just inject themselves into it and say, this is me. If I could just keep doing this, I would be doing things like this. And so I hope you get a really good sense of that when you do play with those products, and I hope you do know that sharing in that with them is an opportunity to affirm how they feel about moving forward, and that's a super valuable thing. I know it really was for me a couple of years ago, and I wouldn't be here if I didn't see how well the products I had made had been received by you and how much you enjoyed using them. That feedback is just invaluable when you're sitting at home so stressed that you've made the biggest mistake of your life. So yeah, I just love the project. I'm super excited about it. It's been a really crazy experience coordinating everything, but it is fully in production now. Hopefully by the end of this month, start of next month, all your boxes will be shipping to you just in time for Christmas, which is my favorite time of year, and I've already started celebrating and I'm not mad about it. The last thing I have to say is Memory to Memento, my travel journal course, my online workshop. That is still in production, so please don't stress about that. I have not given up on it. I've just rescheduled how I'll move forward with some of my projects just to prioritize what I need to do earlier and later and where something can fit in. And yeah, there's still a bunch of things that I've been working on that I haven't mentioned publicly yet, and due to them not being completely my projects, I don't have the permission to mention those, but you'll eventually see them anyway. But the travel journaling workshop is just still being created, and I've said this before and I just can't stress it enough. I've spent such a good amount of time on that journal and done a job that I'm really proud of. I would just hate to rush through the end of it just to get the course finished. For me, it's not so much like, oh, I just need to get a course out there. I want the course to be an accurate look of how I really invested into creating like the ultimate travel souvenir, the ultimate memento, just a journal of that travel. So I don't think I'd be doing anyone who does the course a service if I just decided to rush through it at the end, because that wouldn't be accurate. I wouldn't do that. So I will just take my time with that, and hopefully you'll be hearing more about it after my holiday. I'm not quite sure. I don't anticipate it being out before November, and certainly not during November either. So it may come out just before Christmas, or I may save it till next year, but either way, that will be something that I believe will probably be the biggest next thing you'll see come out from JLB Creative. And just to put all of it into perspective, I have no idea what I'm doing in 2020. I have a rough idea of the things I might want to do, but I never plan too far in advance because it all changes at the drop of a hat. So I have some ideas of what I might like to do, but I'm hoping that in my holiday in November I will just have some really nice quiet time with family, and we can just chat about the future and things we want to do and things that would be good to do. And yeah, I think it'll be really nice to do that. That's essentially what I did last year, and that's why everything did restructure and change this year. And I can't say for certain if it worked for everybody, but I do know that it did work for me for a lot of the things I wanted it to work for. Namely it being sustainable. I think it was a lot more sustainable this year than it was last year, and certainly the year before that. And I'm hoping to just build from strength to strength and just really find the right flow for everything. That's everything from my notes for today. I hope you enjoyed that update. I'm gonna get on to doing some more whimsy ween stuff that I want to share, and yeah, keep your eyes peeled for any updates on that update if it should happen. That should be about everything. Thank you for sticking this one out. I hope you found some of that interesting. And one last reminder, just because I know this video has been a lot about projects and investments and buying and selling, you can live a great life without anything I mentioned in this video. And it is so true. I know I say that a lot, but I cannot stress it enough. You can live a great life without washi stickers, without traveler's notebook inserts, without journal charms, like literally you can live a great life without any of it. If that's something you want, it's there for you, and that's why I make these videos and these announcements, just to let you know that it's there. But please don't feel pressured into buying anything. Just enjoy what you can enjoy, how you want to enjoy it. If that just means watching Instagram stories and watching, liking posts, or just watching YouTube videos and trying a free tutorial, go for it. That is what I've done all my life, and I'd much rather enjoy that than feeling like I have to be pressured to buy something. So that's just what I'm going to leave you with today. You can have a great life without any of it. That's all I'll say about that. Thank you for watching. Bye.